today. Welcome to Change Chat, kind of an impromptu change chat. And just wanted to see what everybody's got going on out there. And if you are a Discord member, I am getting ready to drop a link in the chat or in the Discord. If you want to have a conversation, pop in, say hello, feel free to do so. I think that would be a lot of fun. And just let me know because I am going to be live just talking about. I dropped a video earlier today on the Note Air 5C. That's my newest device that I'm testing, and just wanted to see if there are any comments, any questions, any follow ups on that right now, because it took me a while to get that initial impressions out. There's a lot to unpack with this device, which doesn't seem like it would be the case because a lot of the times, and we've talked about this before, Books really excels at iterative, both excels and frustrates some folks with iterative updates. So the idea of being very much like a phone manufacturer, and if you get uh, the device one year, the next year, it's basically the same device with maybe a speed bump, a spec bump of some kind. But I really am considering the Note Air 5C as an improvement at this point. And I think that bears out with some of the other reviews I've seen, either with David over at Tablet Tech or with Kit already, his content he's done on this. I think that you can see that there are some differences, meaningful differences between the 4C and the 5C. Now, does that mean that I would run out and buy the 5C if I already had the 4C? Maybe. It depends if you want to have that keyboard case and you think that's really important. And then I would hit the secondary market pretty hard with being able to resell the 4C and recoup some of that money because right now the Note Air 5C is uh, only $30 more. Now, you do add $109 or $109.99 if you want that keyboard case, and I'm still not 100% sold on that cost to value ratio. Sorry, everybody, that's Mac. He's in the background and obviously amped up about something. So if you hear that, just ignore it. But the big thing is, that 109.99 really makes sense if you are looking for the portability factor. If you're just wanting to type on this at home, a Bluetooth keyboard is going to do you a lot of good and it's going to work not quite as fast, but pretty darn close. The Bluetooth latency is very minimal on these devices. And I think that that's going to change the dynamic here. If you were looking at buying a decent keyboard case anyway, or a decent Bluetooth keyboard anyway, and you were looking at something for portability, it would be really important for you to consider this case because what you get with this case is far more than just the keyboard. You get the keyboard, but you also get the pass through, and you get a really nice case that complements the origami case. So they look very similar as far as the way they're laid out, and this material is very nice. So really, it's all up to you and what you're going to be using. Now, if you don't have one of these devices, hands down, this is a great device to buy. So if you don't already have a 4C, if you have an older 3C, if you have the Tab Ultra C Pro, I would say that this is definitely one of those devices that you could make that upgrade. It's a smaller footprint, it's lighter, it's still running the Note software, which is good. The Tab Ultra C Pro would be running the Tab interface, and I think the tab and the Note interface are pretty closely aligned, but I don't have a tab device. So, pop into the chat or drop down in the comments after you watch this on the playback and let me know if there's a huge difference between the tab devices and the Note devices. I know between the Go devices and the Note devices, there's a difference in UI, specifically around being able to use widgets, being able to do just different things more easily through the UI. Usually, there's also a film that is in place to help with the writing experience. And I think that's actually on the Note and the Go series, because the Go 10.3 has a writing film. So again, sometimes the book's naming conventions and the book's uh, just discussions are a little bit different, a little bit hard to follow and keep straight. Up, it looks like Aaron is joining us. So let's see if Aaron pops in here. Aaron, I see you on the screen. Right now you're muted and I'm not getting a video yet, but thank you for popping into here, my friend. See if you can get unmuted and get your video up, and we'll have a quick conversation. This is I actually purchased Riverside. Luckily, Sam over at Live Productions Tips and Tools had a link to be able to purchase for 15% off, and I did the free trial, and it worked really well. And so I went ahead and bought that.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
there he is.
Oh, hey, what's going on, Ed?
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I've been trying to record some stuff in between you and Dave. I keep stopping, and then my wife, she had to leave to go do some acting stuff. So I said I'll hop on here once I saw the link.
Yeah, Melissa and the kids just went to do some grocery shopping, and I was like, well, you know what? I got a few minutes. See what's going on. I dropped the Note Air 4C or Note Air 5C video earlier today. I was up way too late editing that.
Yeah.
And I'm working on the Palma unboxing and first impression. So I've got several of those filmed. I just have to do the intro, the outro, and the edit. But what do you got in the hopper right now?
Right now, I am working on the reMarkable Paper Pro Move review.
Oh,
So
good.
yep, I got my hands on the move, and I was pleasantly surprised. So I'll say that. Um I've tried the reMarkable Paper Pro, and I didn't dislike it. It just was a little limited for what I wanted to do. And I've kind of come to the realization that when it comes to the smaller tablets, I think I just have a different use case for it. So I don't need all the tools that you would get from Books or Supernote. They're good tools to have on that size, but I don't need them for what I do. So I've been surprised with reMarkable.
Yeah, that's good. And I think it does have I think it definitely has a use case. To me, the two biggest drawbacks, one is the price. I think it's way overpriced for what it
Mhm.
is. But second, to me, is the fact that I really wish they'd gone plastic, because I always jump back to my retail days, and I would carry something that size if I felt that if I dropped it, it was going to be okay. And I'm really worried about, especially in the retail space, because you're dealing with all concrete. And even when I
Mhm.
was in library ops, it was the same thing. I mean, you're down around boilers, and you're, down and you're in concrete. And if you drop something like that and hit the corner, I think that
Yeah.
glass screen is going to shatter like nobody's business. So I was kind of surprised, and maybe they can't do that with gallery. And so those are the main two drawbacks for me for it. But I think in an office setting, I think uh, maybe if you're not crawling around all the time. I mean, I know you're in a hangar, so I wonder how you'd be worried about dropping it.
Well, and so it's not. I'm in a hangar, but it's a little. I guess it's not as bad because I do have an office, so I'm in an office setting, but I do move around a lot, walking through the hangar, just going from plane to plane, kind of taking some notes on what maintenance we're doing, what tools they need, things like that. Um, my biggest issue is like dirt and grime.
Mhm.
Where is it at? See, my biggest issue is dirt. Like this is the I don't know if you can see it on camera, but like my AI paper mini, I like the case, but it's that light gray kind of fabric, and from time to time it's grease, on the desk from some of the tools when I'm in a certain area. So that's my biggest issue. But no, the you know what I like best about the reMarkable Paper Pro platform is that you can the filing system where everything else that I have. I have to file EPUBs and PDFs over here, and then I have my note system over there. Well, I can put everything in one folder here because it's like the full organizational setup is in one place. So,
Yeah, and I think reMarkable excels at that. And Supernote is very much similar. I mean,
mhm,
they have their suggesteds. So you have
right.
documents, you have notes. Everything goes in the notes file for me mostly, unless I know it's just for books. And I may
Hmm.
put EPUBs over there under documents. But I can, if I'm working on a project, I just put everything under the notes folder. So I
Hmm.
have my EPUB in there, my PDF, any linked notes, all of that is done that way. And I think those two systems, well, Books, I think Books does a really good job of allowing you to kind of free form as well. Um, some of the other ones I think are still getting their sea legs because it's harder to do with showing your video stop there, Aaron. So if you can
Yeah,
rejoin, that's great.
yeah. I'm
Or
fixing it right quick.
but I think that's it, and I think that's one
All
of the
right.
reasons that, I mean, WeWoods, I think is overpriced for what it is, but I think their biggest drawback is their organizational tools. I think that I was really interested to see David's over at Tabletech, his video on the AI Note. And I'm supposed to have one of those coming, but they've been a little cagey on whether or not they're going to let me do it without any strings. So
Uh-huh.
I told them not to send it if that wasn't in the cards. So if they try to pressure into any kind of contract or anything like that, I'm not interested. So I was really
Yeah.
excited to see his review. And then Jeff Moss has one on the way because he was part of the Kickstarter. So I think that from a standpoint of organization, seems like they may have gotten a lot of things right. And they may even have uh, a better AI integration from what I've seen so far. But again, I think there's uh, a lot of potential there. We'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah, it did look pretty interesting. His review did look pretty interesting. So I am waiting to see what else comes from it and what others have to say because it was definitely a different review than the ones you normally see where someone is just trying to sell me a tablet. So,
Yeah, and I think that's why, initially it took me so long I mean, first of all, it took me a while to start reviewing it all because that wasn't really my bailiwick. And we're just having a conversation, folks. By the way, jump into the chat if you want to. Let us know what you're thinking. Any questions? This is my good friend Aaron from 2530 Media, and but yeah, that's one of the reasons I didn't jump on the WeWoods train right away or reach out to them right away was because there were so many, and there still are, sponsored reviews where it just feels like an ad. And nothing against sponsored reviews, and nothing against WeWoods for taking advantage of that marketing. Quite frankly, I think reMarkable does a tremendous job of really pushing their marketing campaign out. But I just oh, hold on just a second. Hello. If that's what they want. No, no, I don't care. You can pick up whatever you want on the way. Yeah. Mhm. All right, love you. All right, everybody, I'm back. That was Melissa
mm,
giving me a call. Uh, but But yeah, so what do you think about that, Aaron? I'm curious, as far as, I mean, again, I don't have anything against sponsored reviews, and I don't have anything against people getting uh, devices to review. I think the biggest thing is being transparent about it.
No, I don't have an issue with sponsored reviews at all. I think creators, it's you put a lot of time into making this stuff, so creators should have an avenue to make money or get devices, without having to pay for them. So I definitely have zero issue with those sponsored reviews. I think I guess more of my commentary would be on the actual companies. For the amount of sponsored reviews that you do put out, you should also reach out to those reviewers who are big inside the community that do real reviews, and just get them the device with no strings attached. If
Mhm.
I'm, for an example, let's say if I'm iFly Tech and I really believe in my product, then I wouldn't mind getting into the hands of someone like Kit, Voya, yourself, Rod, people who are really going to look over it and give you the pros and cons and let us know what the device really does. If I believe in that product, I wouldn't mind handing those out. Kind of like my issue with Mont Blanc. I really think I get it's a luxury brand and they want to present it in a certain way, but I also would like to get that product in the hands of, a big time reviewer who actually goes through these things. So get it to a Kit, get it to a Voya. And I think if they would have done that, that would have been a better, like with Voya's video, I feel like half of it was Voya just was, what's the word I'm looking for? Not upset, but it's almost like, that's Voya, that's Kit. How dare y'all not come out with this new e-ink tablet that's almost $1,000 and not get it in the hands of some reviewers who do this? So
Yeah, and I think, I mean, Jeff Moss bought one, and I think Jeff has probably one of the best reviews on it going through. And I think Voya, I think Voya to a point, I don't think he was so much angry as just the price point really for what it is, I
mhm.
think is kind of ridiculous. I mean, the name is what you're paying for. That's
Yeah,
okay. If that's what you want is a luxury device, but he's not the first one to say it looks just like the Lenovo Smart Paper. Several people have
yeah.
said that.
It does. I've seen a picture of it. I actually saw it in person at the Mont Blanc store here in Houston in Galleria, and you're paying for the name, you're paying for the prestige. I get some of the things with the pen holder that is similar to their leather pen holders they sell for their regular fountain pens. I get the styli is designed after one of their more popular pens, from the resin build all the way down to the pen tips that are on the actual software that mimic their fountain pens. But
Mhm.
yeah, $1,000 is ridiculous. But I mean, it's Mont Blanc, so
Well, and I think that's fine. I think the biggest point from what I took from Voya's video, I mean, I thought it was hilarious. His whole, you just don't understand.
mhm,
I thought that was I expected him to hold that character for about 2 to 3 minutes, but
yeah,
to start the whole review that way was pretty funny. But I think his central point was it should be the best in class at something if you're going to charge, even with the name recognition, that much of a premium. And I think that's the issue. I don't think it's a bad device. I don't think anybody said that. I mean, Jeffrey Moss says it's a good device. Voya says it's a capable device, but and even Vlad, I think, got to test one in a store.
hmm
But is there anything that stands out with it? And from all the reviews I've seen, the answer is no. And so that's what would justify the price tag. If it had even one feature that was like the standout feature, and I think the closest thing would be the stylus with the
yeah,
way that it has that navigation built in. Um, but even then, that's not directly related to your writing. That's a navigation feature. So Yeah, I think it's interesting, and you know, Books is extremely good at getting devices out to people, even smaller creators like me, you know, and I think that's good that they're willing to throw their stuff out there with 0 expectations other
Yeah.
than you will review it. And Supernote's that way, and reMarkable with the big creators is that way because, you know, obviously they got it in the hands of Voya and Kit right out of the gate with the move. But even they're more targeted. You have to, I think, be at a certain threshold before they engage.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Now, I was used to that being in the car business. You know, you look at some of your high end cars like Lexus, even the Genesis brand. It's a Kia. You know, it's a Toyota with different logos, and you get inside this Lexus or this Genesis or even some of these Maseratis, and you realize I'm in a Maserati. I'm paying 80 grand for it, but that's the same radio that's in a Dodge Charger. So it's what luxury brands do.
Oh yeah, and I get it. And if you're in that market, that more power to you. I mean, and coming even from the retail space, uh, you know, the milk still comes from. I live in, you know, Indiana, so Dean's. It still comes from Dean's milk, but it's the Walmart milk. It's the same exact thing.
Hmm.
One just costs more. And I mean, you do pay for that brand. You pay for that recognition. I just think that like reMarkable is something you're paying a premium for because it's reMarkable.
Right.
Apple is something you're paying a premium for because it's Apple. And I think that's a little bit of a different expectation level. And I don't know that the Mont Blanc people that purchase that have that expectation from a functionality standpoint, or if they want something that looks really good and does enough. And if that's all they want, then I think they've got that. And if they wanted to have that emblem on it, then, you know, again, would I purchase it? Would I encourage anybody to purchase it? Would I say it's a good value? No. And I
No.
knew that to begin with. So if they'd have even offered to send me one, I would have said no. And I would have never been on their radar, but I would have said, no, I'm not going to do that because I can't recommend something that I wouldn't go out and buy,
Hmm.
you know, and use on a daily basis. And that's why I ended the relationship with WeWoods. Nothing against them. It wasn't something I could use. I'm still in the process of testing the Pocketbook, the InkPad EO. I don't know how well it's going to fare because it is an older device. And it's very much built on Big Me Heart or Big Me software. So we'll
Hmm.
see how that works out. But I'm really impressed with Books, and not just because they're sending me stuff, but also because of the ecosystem. I
Yeah.
think them and Supernote are the two biggest players from an ecosystem perspective. reMarkable's app's very good, but you have to pay for it. Um, and I'm having fun testing different devices. Uh, I haven't figured out how I'm going to use or how I could effectively use the Palma yet, but I don't hate it. It's just a different form factor and a different way of thinking about these devices for me. And in some ways,
Hmm.
that's very good. I think we need to push ourselves. We need to think differently about all of these things. Uh,
Yeah.
and this one's pushing me a lot.
You know,
You know, small devices aren't my thing.
I had a Palmer 2. I had a Palmer 2 a little while ago, and the only reason why I sent it back was because of the whole data thing. I got tired of having to be on Wi-Fi to use it. That was the first thing. And I didn't have a real need for it as just an e-reader because I liked reading on the Kindle Scribe. I'm not the Kindle
Mhm.
Scribe, but the Kindle Paperwhite. So I didn't have a need for it. It's not that it was a bad device. I mean, I was using it for Reddit, using it for Discord, so it was a good device, and using it to read books. It just I didn't I didn't have a need for it. But I don't know if I would have a need for it now that it has note taking capabilities. I mean, the good thing would be to have my full access of my notes app on something smaller just if I need it. But I don't I don't see myself writing on that. I thought I wouldn't be able to enjoy writing on the move because of the size, but I actually do enjoy it. But I don't think I could do something the size of the Palmer just to write on.
Yeah, well, to me, the writing on it isn't so bad for short lists, that kind of things. I mean, you can tell the difference between it and a Wacom EMR stylus,
Mhm.
but it's not horrible. They've optimized this new pen pretty good. Biggest problem to me is the fact that it has that camera bump, and even if you put it in the case, it still has a bump. So the thing
Mm,
wobbles. So you can't put it
yeah,
in no configuration can you put it down and not have your other hand on it to write.
yeah.
That's the biggest downside so far. And I was even showing it to a colleague at work, and she was kind of, wow, I kind of like the size of that. And I was like, yeah, this is my problem. And I showed her, and with or without the case, you it's not made like, I mean, if you look at my Samsung here,
Yeah.
the way this is made, it kind of eliminates the camera bump by putting it in a case. And that makes a lot of sense. So even though this camera bump on the Palma is pretty small, and the case on the Palma is really weird too. I don't know. You can't leave it in the case for most things,
Hmm.
or I should say this cover case.
Oh, okay.
The case itself, the MagSafe case, or I don't know if we actually call it MagSafe, but it's got the magnetic connection on it. But it works really well. And but the problem is, and I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but you still get that little bit of plateau there.
Hmm.
And that just is on there regardless of whether it's in the case or out of the case. And if you
Yeah.
want this to be a writing device, that just doesn't make any sense.
No. Unless they expect people to write with it, kind of like with one hand, how they also market the move, which I was trying that out the other day, and it's not terrible. It's not the best. I mean, it's not the worst experience I've had. But I was also just I forgot about how good the remarkable platform is with writing, like the writing surface.
Hmm.
I think that this capacitive styli works just as good as EMR. I'm pretty sure I'm missing some technical stuff with the line wobble and things like that, but just in real world use applications, I can't tell the difference. So,
Yeah, the biggest difference you're going to notice is in like the O's, the L's, the F's, anything with a curve. That's where I tend to notice it. Like the E when I'm writing a lowercase e, especially if I'm writing cursive. And I tend to float between cursive and print. So when you do that, you're going to get sometimes you're going to lose that function. You're going to lose that legibility. So the smaller you write, you can lose some of that. And is that an E or is that an I? And that's what I tend to run into most of the time if I'm writing with a non EMR pen, and
mhm.
especially not a real fine pen. I mean, that's why I like the Supernote so much, is because of the size of that ceramic nib is so small. It mimics a real pen tip, and that's why it works well for me. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm not upset with the Palma other than I can't figure out my use case yet. And I'm like you, I like to have something to be able to reference my notes on the go, but the Supernote partner app is so good that this is my to-go reference right now. I
Mhm.
can just load that up and I can see every single thing from to-dos if I have them, to digest entries if I have them, all of my books, all of my files. The Palma does not annotate, by the way. So you can't, at least I can't figure it out yet. And I'm still early, but I haven't figured out, not that I would want to annotate,
Mhm.
but I just wanted to try it for functionality's sake to see if it would work. And I opened the cask of Amontillado, so I pulled it down and I can see annotations, but I can't write. So that was kind of there's no writing tools in Neo Reader on this device. And that was a little strange to me. So I don't know um, whether they just
I,
haven't ported that over yet or what the issue is there.
I could actually see it not being included because I can't imagine annotating on that. Like I don't. My use case at work when it comes to PDFs, when I'm using the mini, and now that I've been using this the move, I will view the PDF, but I won't even attempt to annotate on it because I first off I'm blind anyways, and then secondly,
Me too.
it's so small. So that's why I would always keep the larger tablet with me if I need to do some work when it comes to that. But yeah. No, I'm excited about the move, so I'm gonna finish making some content. I'm finna go run and give me something to eat right quick, Ed. I'm excited that you let me join in and chat with you for a little while.
No, anytime. We need to get together and do more of these and talk more. So I appreciate it. And thanks for your input. I can't wait to see what you do with the move. I'm excited.
I should be through tonight, so I'll have it up tomorrow.
Sounds good. Well, you take care, my friend.
All right, you too, Ed.
All right, everybody. Well, if you have other questions, thanks again to Aaron for joining the stream. It's one thing I love about this community is people just popping in, saying hello, having good conversations. I didn't expect to talk about the reMarkable move today, but I think that the Paper Pro move is an interesting device. I mean, I'm not in the reMarkable ecosystem, but a lot of people are, so I think it's a very good conversation to have. But if you have any other questions, fire them in, whether it's about uh, the Palma 2 Pro, whether it's about the InkPad EO, whether it's about the BOOX uh, Note Air 5C, uh, the video I dropped earlier today about that device includes a look at the keyboard, the folio, the device itself. Very first thoughts and impressions right now, but a lot more coming. But I'm going to hop off of here in just a minute. But if there are any last minute questions, any thoughts, observations, things you'd like to see, let me know. I'd love to hear more about it. If you're watching this on the replay, drop something down in the comments. Let me know. And please like, subscribe to the channel if you're interested in this content. Still working on getting the Palma 2 Pro video out, hopefully this weekend. If not, it'll be early next week. And just have a lot of other things going on with the channel. So, we plan by the end of the year to have the full course all the way out on my Patreon page. So I've got a course on introduction to organization and second brain systems. You'll be able to find that down in the description after the fact on this, as well as on my website, on my Patreon page. Appreciate all of the people who have supported me in that way. It's been a wonderful journey. We're right at 2 years that I've been doing this as a hobby. And while it doesn't produce, any real income, it does allow me to keep making these videos. So I pretty much break even on the channel at this point, or have broken even uh, by this point. Uh, not made any money. So pretty much it just for what I do, I put it back into the channel. It's why I have the Elgato prompter here. It's why I have this microphone, some of the lighting that I have now. Went ahead and paid for Riverside because it was just helping me so much from a productivity standpoint. I may even see about seeing if I can get a promo code to share with you all from them. It's just the amount of time it saves me with shorts editing, with editing out pauses, with, doing just a lot of different things. And I was doing all of that with OBS, a bunch of different open source products. And I'm still a huge fan of open source products, but I was just finding that I was having to take too much time in post processing and in doing elaborate setup. And eventually, and I'm still doing a lot of that when it comes to top down camera shots. OBS is still extremely good for that. I haven't quite figured out how to do all of that in Riverside yet. That would be the goal, is to be able to record most things in this platform, just because it's easier, it saves a bunch of time, and it allows me the level of control I need to be able to do the best job I can for you all. But anyway, thank you all so much for joining the stream. Thanks to Aaron for hopping on. It was great to see you. It was great to talk to you live. And, until next time, everybody, keep on moving forward. Have a great rest of your weekend. And jump into the comments here, jump into the comments on my new video. And I will see you all soon.